Go to church. And hey, God can use a donkey, God can use anything, right? And so at the same time, Anthony got on that bus and he went to vacation Bible school, and he gave his heart and his life to Jesus Christ at the age of 11. But what he didn't understand was that even though you're 11 and even though you have innate desires and abilities and things that you love, that just because God saves you doesn't mean that he is going to take the personality that he gave you away and somehow cause you to try to be something different. He got into church and he didn't understand that desire on the inside of him to lift weights and to take care of himself and to do all of those things, to play sports. He thought that somehow serving God meant that I had to abort all the things that I loved. And so he had this bad impression that somehow I have to be different than who I was made to be now that I'm saved. Thankfully, he got around some good people that said, oh, no, that's not how that works. God will take your personality that he gave you. He will take your giftings and your abilities and your talents, and you turn them into God, and you use them for his glory. And so as a result, my husband and I have been on the road ministering for the last 16 years as evangelists, and on the road everywhere and anywhere. But about 8 years ago, he realized that he was a little bit, not tired, he realized that he was an evangelist who wasn't seeing people saved. He was preaching to already saved people on church pews. And that aching in his heart just said, I want to get out of the four walls of the church and I want to go into the world somehow, some way, and be able to bring Christ. And so he got that itch to get out of the four walls of the church, as well as the church ministry that we do. God planted him inside the public school system. And several years ago, he started a power team to be able to use the giftings and the talents that he'd always had. At the age of 17 and 18, he was so into bodybuilding, but he realized that he could also take that and use that for God. He didn't know how, but he knew that somehow, even though there were preachers that came by and told him it was vanity, you got to leave that stuff behind, he said, no, I don't understand it, but God put this on the inside of me, and he's going to use it some way, somehow. And he has, very much so. He's been in almost 500 public schools in the last several years alone. Been in front of 450,000 students, from elementary to middle school to high school up into the college level, ministering to young people inside their public schools. If you work inside of a school, you're an administrator, you're a teacher, would you raise up your hand for me in this place? We pray for you on a daily basis. You're the ones on the front lines. We just come along once or twice a year to hopefully reiterate what you're already telling them. And as Bree said, they're not listening to their parents, so somebody's got to come through and reiterate what's being told to them. And so we're able to go into those schools and we're able to talk to them about choices, making right choices, how to turn things around if they make wrong choices, how to get up from where they are, how to see themselves differently.